So now we will move on to the first module, our first module, like software testing introduction. So in this model, you will learn like why is software testing? Why is software testing important? We have discussed it already many times. Like why software testing is more important in the for any software development. So why testers are needed in the industry? So why software testing and what is a software testing? Is if a fresher who is starting a career is going to start the career in software development or who software testing, or if someone is going to enter into software testing, this you guys can note down because it is a um, always asked interview question. Why software testing? So software testing, by definition, software testing is defined as the activity to check whether the actual result is matching the expected result. This is a very easy and plain definition of a software testing. So what is software testing? Software testing is defined as activity to check whether the actual result matches the expected result, to ensure that the software is defect free. So can you ensure that software is defect free 100%? We'll come to that. So this is a definition of software testing. So you can it and addition to that, software testing can also be used to identify errors, gaps, or missing requirement. So what is this missing requirements is a main question. So we will be seeing the other things like software development life cycle, requirement documents, and all. So first, to start any software development, the first thing will be the business process, business requirements. So in some companies they called as BRS, which is business requirement specification. Some people called it as SRS. If you already read little bit about software testing, you could have known about this SRS. This is software requirement specification, they call it as. So this BRS, SRS, there might be many missing requirements. Like for example, they will say like username should not accept special characters. This will be the one line in your business requirement document. Like username should not accept special characters, but username what and all should be accepted, it is not known. Username can accept numeric, username can accept alphabet, username can accept capital letters, or this will not may not, maybe or may not be mentioned in the business requirement document. So what the software tester does, this software tester does by his experience, yes, business username can accept numeric, username can accept uh, caps lock, or it depends, it all comes in the experience of a software tester on the product or from his previous experience, or it is not like experience. What I mean is like a real time software testing experience also. It can be experience of like you are creating a Gmail account, whether Gmail they are accepting special characters. Okay, anyway your business requirement is having special characters should not be accepted. Gmail may accept underscore or hyphen or anything or dot, but our requirement is it should not accept any special characters, so underscore and everything is eliminated or omitted there itself. But it can accept numbers or anything, can comes under your experience of your own experience from different creating username, etc. So this is this is what it is called as missing requirement. So this missing requirement also, yeah, software tester can find out, which is this all are actually contrary to the actual what is software requirement is. But this also you can find out. So in other words, what a software tester's role is, like he has to think himself as a product owner, like he owns that product, it is his product and it has to go defect free, and his customers should be satisfied with the product. Its customer should not face any difficulty while accessing or while using the application. That is his main motive should be. It is not it should not be, the motive should not be like you should satisfy your product manager or your project manager. You should make his your test manager or your developers should be happy, you should not hurt. This all should not be his motive. His motive should be like he should be behave as a product owner, and he has to test the product. So what is testing? This is an importance of testing we have covered enough. Like what what happens if you miss a proper testing? I have shown you an example of that Bangladesh bank heist, Facebook and Apple Maps. All these things I have explained already. What if you don't do a proper testing, or what is the importance of testing of that? So our next is like what are the roles and responsibilities of a tester. So there are, as in any IT company, there are different roles and responsibilities for different person in different projects. Like even in development they have different role, like a software developer, senior software developer, manager, lead, etc, etc. So similarly there are roles and responsibilities of a tester. So we can see that. Okay, before coming to that, we have one more thing. In importance of testing, we have one more thing like, okay, this we can cover it later. So what are roles and responsibilities of a tester? These are the roles and responsibilities of a tester. If he is a test manager or a lead, if he is a test manager, he is a responsible. See, if you are working with a customer, the first question from the customer who is like, who is responsible for the product to get delivered? For example, who is responsible for the development? So overall there will be a project manager. So there under project manager there will be a test manager, and there will be a development lead, etc, etc. So so a test manager or a test lead is responsible for the delivering the product defect free. So other responsibilities, what are his responsibilities? Like he has he has to give his subordinates who should do what testing, who should be involved in what modules of testing, and different kind of testers he has to assign the different roles. See, for example, he can assign the roles, like if he has a junior resource, he will assign the testing activities of simple testing. And if he is a senior person, so complicated testing he will give it to him. So he is responsible for defining that activities. So all the test planning, the test lead is responsible. Like what is the estimation, how much time it will take, what are all we are going to do, what kind of testing we are going to do, what kind of testing and all we are going to adopt, like integration testing we are going to do, smoke testing, and these all comes in test planning. We will see a sample test plan later. So he is responsible for test planning. And the test lead's important role is like he has to check if the team has all the necessary resources to execute the testing activities. Like, see, what are all these resources? Like if a testing team is there, what resources they might need, like for them application is deployed in the testing environment properly. There are no deployment issues, and some places the tester itself does the deployment, and if the deployment is proper he has to check. And if your tester is writing the test cases in Excel, where that Excel is available for all the testers, so if they have any problem in the system, so all these necessary resources has to be identified by the test lead, and he has to fix all the resources, whether whether the testers are having access to the application, whether the testers are able to log in into the application. These uh, all the resources related things a test lead has to take the responsibility. So and the main important thing is like he has to check whether the testing is going in hand. Like you see, for example, there are 7 to 8 testers. For example, you have 10 testers. Two people will be checking a different model. Two other people will be checking a different model. So there will be five different people will be checking different five different teams will be checking different models. So you have the test leads responsibility is like all are in sync, all are testing properly. All the testing is going in hand. So for example, the one two people are testing module 1, there might be some effect of what these people are testing. Something may affect module 2 who are testing there. So these all, it is going in hand, a test lead has to check. And the test leads other responsibilities, like he prepares a status report. Some companies or some clients expect status report on daily basis, and some expects like daily basis as well as weekly basis. So different companies have different formats of giving this status report. And and all the testing activities, he will collaborate all the team members, and he should give. There will be different forms of a status report. For example, in my previous company, the test report should be in mail itself, like what we did today, activities done today, point number 1 2 3 4 5, and activities we will be going to conduct tomorrow, point 1 2 3 4 5, and what are the risks we faced today, and what are the issues which should be solved by today or tomorrow early morning, so that we can continue the testing. This risk also you should maintain, and if it is risk is high, then you should mention that in red color. So in my current company, it is like we have to send in Excel format. In some companies, it will be Word format. And most important thing is, when after this agile methodology came into picture, many of the status report has reduced, because everything can be tracked through agile wherever you are using maybe Jira. So, and the test leads main important thing is, I said you, like the test leads should testing people should act like the product owners. That most of the customer interaction happens from test lead or test manager, because they know the product. The customer need not know what is the coding happening there. They are using Java, Hibernate. The customer doesn't bother. Most of the customers actually. Some customers comes into like they want in this language only, but most of the customers doesn't bother like what technology, developing technology inside they are using. They are mostly, these interactions will be done by testing or test lead, because they know the application, they know the process. So they will interact with the customers, and to find out like if the customer has anything new, so they prepare a document for that and they share it with the developers. So if the customers want something new, if the customer is not satisfied with something, they do the interactions with customers. So, and he updates the project manager regularly, what is the status, what is the progress, etc, etc. And test engineers, QA engineers, which are like we cannot call it as low level, they are the high level, they are the actual testers. So what the actual testers should do is, they should read all the documents and understand what is to be tested. See, this is very vulnerable in the in the IT industry, like many of them doesn't read the business requirement document, all the documents related to business properly. They assume many things and they do. The business requirement documents are very different from each project. So we have to read all the documents very carefully. And if you have doubts in any of the lines of the document, if you have a doubts on any of the functionalities, you have to clarify that with the customer, whether what you have understood from the document is correct or no, because developers will not understand the document properly. Mostly this happens with the developers, because testers will have some time to read the documents, because but the development has to start immediately. So they will not read the documents fully. They will assume, or they will interact with the customers here and there. They will assume few things and they will start development. But the testers should not do that mistake, because they are the very critical. If they test wrongly, then it is going to screw up many things. So testers has to read and understand all the documents very carefully and very clearly. And if you have any doubts, you have to clarify with your test lead or project manager, or with the product owners, or with the customer, which you can call. And based on that information which has been in the business document, you have to decide how we can do the testing. So the testers normally will have a meeting. They will discuss how we can proceed with the testing, how what kind of testing we can do, how it can be tested, and even they discuss about the estimation, how long it will take, etc, etc. Like, And exam it's what we saw in test leads responsibility, like he has to make sure like all the resources are available for the team members. So these team members responsibility is like they have to say the test lead what are all they need, because test lead also might miss something, and there will be different kind of testers who may require different kind of resources. Some might require like I want excel, some might require like I want chrome, because customer wants to test in chrome as well. Some testing will be like only in internet explorer. So these kind of resources what they need, they have to inform the test lead, and they should start developing the test cases. That developing the test cases is the sole responsibility of the uh, I mean the tester. And they have in the test case you can see like there will be priorities. Which is the first priority? It will come from business requirement document, or it will come from the experience of the tester. So what testing has to be prioritized first. For example, there is a insurance application, for example. So what will be the first in insurance is like add a customer. If some customer has come and approached and he has taken the insurance plan, so what he has to do is add a customer. So that will be the first priority, like adding a customer without any issues. That will be the first priority. So you have to define the priority of all the in from the user defined document. That is the responsibility of a tester. And after the product developed and the product came for testing, etc., all the software development life cycle finishes in the before testing. And when it comes to testing, and you have to prepare the test case, you have to report the defects. So there are many defect tracking tool. The most used in the market is now Jira, and some people have Bugzilla, and some uses QC itself. So most widely used is Jira. I can show you Jira a little bit in the later when we are discussing about that. So he has to define, when you are raising a bug, you have to define the severity, priority. What is the difference between a severity and what is the priority, we will see in the later. And he has to define that. And so release number 1 happened. In the release number 2, his responsibility will be carry out regression testing, and when changes are made and code is being fixed. So this is the roles and responsibilities. Next comes like principles of software testing. I hope everyone is clear about the roles and responsibilities of a tester and senior testing team, QA lead or senior tester, etc. And mostly testers, like a QA tester and the senior QA tester or senior test engineer responsibilities will be almost same. Maybe it will be expected like a senior test engineer should be doing more testing and more complicated testing, and he should not he or she should not miss many bugs related to a normal a QA tester who is a fresher or who is having less experience. So principles of software testing, it is very important. Some people say like these principles of software testing we don't follow in our company. It is a myth. It is just as a reference or just as a different reference, or we use just for the interview purpose. It is not used much. So principles of software testing is not required. It is just a myth, they say. No, it is not a myth. We not a myth. It is not only for reference or an interview question. We use them in practice. It is very important to use them in practice. Otherwise, your testing, you will have many problems, or your testing will not be defect free, or you will miss out many testing. So one principle of software testing is exhaustive testing is not possible. So what this means by this exhaustive testing is not possible. So any software, if you can ask like if this software is 100% defect free, no, you cannot guarantee that. If this software is match 99% or 98% defect free, you can achieve to some extent. Or if this software is matching all the requirements which is defined in the requirement document, yes, you can do it 100%. But if it is 100% defect free, is not possible. So exhaustive testing is not possible. Like if you think like there is an application, or for example you can take it as Gmail application. You think like Gmail application, I have written 1,000 test cases and I have done covered 100 percentage testing in that. I have, there is no much testing to do in that. You can never ever guarantee that or never ever claim that. Yes, you cannot do 100% testing on everything. You can do, you can analyze the risk. For example, inbox, if someone sends a email, if it goes to inbox, if someone sends a, if you are sending a email from your Gmail account, whether it is going to the other Gmail account, these kind of testing is like risk testing. These kind of risk all can be covered. The risk can be covered 100 percentage. You can do much testing, but 100% testing is not possible, which is what I meant to say. Like exhaustive testing is not possible. Then comes one important thing is like defect clustering. So what is defect clustering is very important. See, if you take any software application, if you take any application or uh, there will be like 80% of the bugs in that application will be in the 20% of the modules. I repeat, 80% of the issues or bugs will be almost in the 20% of the modules of the application. This is the universal fact, and it is what is most of the application is like. So in the 20% of the application will have the 80%. How I will say one example, like, see, for example, uh, you have an application. It is a simply like add a customer, add a customer's age, etc., add a customer's address, etc. Most of the test cases will not fail. So, and if it is an e-commerce website, if a customer is buying a product, so if your customer is buying 10 products, then he deleted 2 products from his cart, then he is buying 3 more products. So you are doing the calculation, you are doing the billing. So these all are the very vulnerable part in the testing, like this billing, this calculating all the build amount, all the products purchased. These are the modules which will mostly fail. These are the modules will have almost 80% of the issues other compared to the add a customer, adding a customer and entering the customer's address, entering the customer's age. These things will have very less issues because everyone will develop it very nicely. So issues will be like billing for the customer and delivery charges are free or no for this much amount, whether the product all are added in carts, when you are, what is the expected delivery date. These are the very bad. This will cover only the 20% of the models. The others will be all like, if you take Amazon as an example, the others all like you are adding a product into Amazon, you are updating how many, who are the sellers. These all will not fail most of the times. The most of the things will fail in other things. So many many applications in, I have seen in my real time experience also, most of the failures will happen in the 20% of the models. So a experienced tester or a domain expert or a experienced domain expert tester will should identify this 20% of the modules. It comes from the experience itself. That is what you are seeing the product, or when you are working in the product for a very long time, you will come to know like where this product will always fail, where this project, whether this application will always fail. It will be in only in the certain areas where it will be always failing. So we have to identify that 20% of the models by the experience, and we have to do exhaustive testing for that 20%. You have to do more testing for that and concentrate more on that 20 percentage, so that you don't miss any issues, you don't miss any bugs. So that is called defect clustering. You are clustering the defect at one place. Like then the 20% model, in the 20% model only there is cluster of defects, so it is called defect clustering. The other important concept of testing is, principle of testing is pesticides paradox. So Now you can relate with the real time how this pesticide, because people say like it is a myth, these principles are just for reference. Now you can relate this pesticide paradox, you can relate with the real time what is this. So this pesticide paradox is like, see for example, you are having a farm, you are growing something, grapes or something. So there is obviously there will be pesticides in your farm. So insects or pesticide, there will be insects which will be killing the farm or killing the grapes or whatever you are cultivating. Then there will be insects or worms which will be destroying the farm. So what you do, you will do is you apply the pesticides. Okay, first time when you are applying the pesticides, the insects will all kill, you are fine, you will do a good crop, etc, etc. But when you are repetitively using the same pesticides, see that is what, when they are doing farming, they will not use the same pesticide two times. First time when they have used the pesticides, they will not repeat the pesticide second time, they will use a different pesticide second time. So when you are repeating the same pesticide to eradicate these insects, so over the time the insects will develop its own resistance to the pesticides. So the insects will not get died because of these pesticides, because it will develop the resistance, it can accommodate the pesticides, it will start eating. There's some people, farmers say like it will start eating the pesticides only and it will grow. So this how it applies to software testing. So there is application, you are applying a same set of testing, repetitive test, you're applying the same, you can note down this, you are applying the same set of repetitive test, then the method will become useless for discovering defects. So same test of testing, you are again, see for example, there is a username password, you are giving 15 characters, which is not, the username should accept only 15 characters, you are giving more than 15 characters, 16 characters, it's a negative testing. You are doing more than 16 characters, the username will not accept, it will fail. You are giving less than 15 characters, it is accepting. Username, you are giving special characters and testing, it is giving error. It username, you are giving numbers, it is giving error. So these all you have tested, these exhaustively in release 1, release 2, release 3, until release 10 you are going on testing this, there is of no use. It will not find any bugs because it is not going to change. So this is called pesticide paradox. So, and if you are doing this, like this repetitive test, you are going on doing, and if you claim that everything is working fine, it is a wrong, it can never be, and this application is not bug free. Okay. So, how to overcome this? So, your test cases has to be very regularly, it should be renewed, reviewed, and revised. So, you have to update your test cases as I mean, in very constant period of time. You have to regularly review and revise, and you have to add new test cases or delete some test cases which are not no longer required, and you have to add different kind of test cases. Just use username as an example. The main application or the application in real time will be very complicated, so I just used for a simple sentence. So you have to add new and different types of test cases, and you have to revise your test cases in constant interval of time to find more defects.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we have to so these testers cannot always depend on existing test techniques. Always you have to go on revising your testing technique, how you are doing it. Okay. And so even though after doing this much, you cannot claim your product is 100% defect free, your product will have defects. So you have to test in such an extent like you don't risk the product, or you don't leave any major things in the product. So even if all this sweat and hard work in testing, you can never claim the product is bug free. That is what I am trying to say here. So to add my value to my what I am saying is 100% defect free, you cannot say. You can see a video, you can search simply Google like video of the public launch of Windows 98. You can just go through that. It will be available in YouTube. So do you guys think like that Microsoft will launch a product without doing that much testing of their OS, such a reputed company? Yes, they would have tested everything. You can see their Microsoft uh, launch of Windows 98. In their public launch, the Windows 98 will crash. That is such a, you can imagine the uh, vulnerability of the testing. It is such a shame for such a big company that their public product launch Windows 98 got crashed. You can check this in Google. So that is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can never say like your product is defect free, and you cannot raise your collar like my product is 100% defect free. Okay, so this is one. Then testing shows a presence of defects. uh, so it is all the repetition of my same points. Like, it is not a proof of correctness, testing is. So but you can work extra hard always, like to be 99% defect free, so that your customer is happy. And so this uh, like, in other words, how you say is testing will always tell you like there are presence of defects in the application. You should clearly watch the sentence. Testing will say always like presence of defects. Like, you will raise any bug, it will say like there are bugs present in the application. So there is a bug present in the application, but testing cannot claim about the absence of defects. It is a repetition of my old sentences, but in a different way. Like, testing always talks about the presence of defects. There is a defect present in this application. How you are ensuring that there is defect present in the application? Because you are raising bugs or issues in the bug tracking tool. So there are defects present in the application, but by raising like these defects are present in the defect tracking tool, that these defects are present, you can never claim like there is issues absent after you complete your testing. Okay, so but you have to work hard to be 99% bug free. That is what I try to say. So absence of error, it is the same like what I was saying, like it cannot be 100% bug free. And you can still manage to get a 99% bug free, uh, which is still so absence of.
This conference will now be recorded.
So next concept is like absence of error. So what this absence of error means, like, so you have tested an application and it is 99% bug free or issue free, or there is 99% bug free. So still the product cannot be in a reusable condition. Why? You are saying like a project is 99%, a product is 99% bug free, but again the product cannot be usable at all. It cannot, it is still unstable. In other words, how we can say is like uh, the product is unusable. I mean, after you are saying like 99% it is bug free, also the product may become an unusable product. It is because this can be because the system which is tested thoroughly, a tester has done a good job. The tester has made the product 99% bug free. Really, he has made, I mean, but 99% bug free, but still the product is, why it is unusable? Because the system is tested thoroughly or very nicely for the wrong requirement. The requirement itself is wrong, but the tester has done a 99% thorough testing and everything is fine, but the product cannot be used because you have tested or tested with their wrong requirement. So the absence of, so where we are contradicting with the previous thing, like we are saying like 99% is a good testing, but here even 99% you have tested, you have 99% you have tested as a issue free application, still it is a fallacy error. Absence of error is a fallacy. You can note down this: absence of error is always a fallacy. So it, the product is still be not usable. So we cannot say like there is absence of error in a application. So always you have to read the system specification document or business requirement document very thoroughly, and you have to have many meetings. Like what if you are seen in many companies, when the initial stage they will have a lot of meetings, people will get exhausted. You should have many meetings. If you have a small doubt also, you have to clarify with your product owner, and you have to make sure like the requirement what you are testing is always correct. You cannot make a mistake of testing with a wrong requirement. Is always ensure that your requirement is correct. I'm repeating this because this is the common mistake happens throughout the software industry. People read the requirement wrongly and they develop their wrong project, I mean wrong model or wrong product, and the tester also will complete the testing very nicely, and the product will get released and it will not be usable. So we should be very careful with that. So we should always ensure that the users needs and requirements are being fulfilled in very less span of time. Like you have developed one model, you can give a demo. So normally they have in software development a life cycle or agile as well. Even each sprint they will have a demo. So they will give a demo and then and there they will correct the product. These are the lessons which they have learned from previously failures, and now they are making like after a small model is developed they will give a demo, the product owner will see, the customer will see, and then and there they will say like there is some problem in this and they will correct it. So these are all the lessons they have learned and they have corrected now. So for this absence of errors, now what comes next to overcome this absence of error? What we are doing is now early testing, which is what I mentioned now. So now what we are doing is like in agile methodologies and all, like if one module is completed development, then immediately the testing will go parallelly with that module's development. So the testers see in the traditional way in SDLC and all, if you say like now we will come to the chapter again in the next chapter is that I believe. So SDLC and all, like once the development is over, then the testing will take over for the testing. So that is what I mentioned. When you do that, you miss it. You, when the development is over, even the testers find some critical, it is a huge cost involved. So now early testing is involved. Early people start testing once the development only is in progress, so that the defects are identified before itself, or there is a change in requirement, it is been identified in first case and it is been rectified then and there. So, and the last point is not last but not least point is like testing is context dependent. So what is this mean by context dependent is like, so there are the different kind of application has to be tested in a different way. See, for example, an e-commerce application cannot be tested how a banking application has been tested. A banking application has many security testing. Like there are many security issues. We have to test all the securities, like whether you are entering invalid username for more than 3 times, it should get blocked. When you are transferring money, you are transferring to the correct person, whether the transfer is happening properly. When you are transferring 10,000, the other the money should not go credited like 1 lakh. So these all are very much security aspect in the banking application. The same is not applicable for a e-commerce. E-commerce, when you are paying, you are buying some 4 5 products and you are paying for the products, whether there also security comes, whether the account has been, whether the user's account has been debited from the money, it has been debited properly and deposited in the Amazon, for example, Amazon's account. These all are we will do in. So a e-commerce website cannot be tested as a banking website or a normal application which is being used by less number of people. Like for example, for some application there will be only like 10,000 users. Only 10,000 users will be using. But Gmail kind of application there will be crores of users. So this you have an application which you are developing where only 10,000 users, you know that there will be only 10,000 users will be using this application, cannot be tested in the same way like how Gmail is being tested, which is for 1 crore users. It is, first of all, it is a time waste and it is also cost effective. You should be able to spend a lot of money for verifying this 10,000 user application for crores of users. Like Gmail will be using crores of users, you will be wasting a lot of money for these users because you know like only 10,000 users will be using this application. So testing is always context dependent. So different kind of application will be needed different kind of testing. That is what I meant to say. Like so you cannot test your local you have in your application there is a email email inbox, etc., same like Gmail, but your application only 10,000 to 20,000 users will be using. You need not test drastically like how Gmail you are testing, because Gmail will be using crores of users. That is what I meant to say. So different kind of application will have different kind of testing. So what is quality? I think you all should be knowing by now. Quality is a product should be defect free. It is the same definition almost like software testing. And there is another thing called quality which we will cover later. So how much testing is enough? You can never define that how much testing is enough. So it is only like you can stop the testing when the time is when the testing duration is completed and the product has to go live. Yeah, without making sure like there is no risk, there is no major issues, there is no major bugs, there is no major risk bugs which you should not go. Obviously you should not send a product like that. You have to extend the project to be deployed or go to live, or you have to finish in the timelines. So when the timeline is over, the testing is done, or when all the test cases are covered, or all the when the requirement specifications, what are in the requirement documents which you have converted into the test cases are being all covered, and that will be the that is only we can say the testing is enough. If you see the other way, like if you want to make the product defect free or you are going on testing, testing is never enough. We will be going on doing that. What is the difference between manual and automation testing? I said in previously itself, manual testing is like you are doing the testing manually, and nowadays people don't call it as mostly manual testing. If you go into IT, you can see they call it as functional testing. uh, so manual is little weird word in IT now. So what is manual testing, what is automation testing? I have first it's said like manual testing, automation testing can never replace a manual testing, because now in this agile we have discussed about this early testing. When you are doing early testing, you cannot write a automation code. We cannot do a automation code that fast. Like you cannot when the developer is developing, there will be 10 developers developing, there will be 5 automation testers. You cannot develop automation that fast, because automation requires a lot of coding planning, and you would have heard about a framework. They have to develop framework and they have to develop methods, etc., etc. So manual automation testing can never replace manual testing. Automation testing is mainly used for regression, and that too regression is mainly like as you have discussed, like there are 10 releases until 8 releases. When you are doing manual testing for these first 8 releases, when you are doing regression testing, first you have to understand it is like the testing done in the previous releases, or the functionalities which worked in the previous releases. I will tell in very simple words. So there are release 1 2 3 until 10. So you have released until 9. 10th is the current release. So until 9 you would have done testing. So we have to make sure like until 9 there are some functionalities developed, there are some modules developed. These modules has gone to release also. until 9, what are all release has been done, it is working fine or no, we have to test in release 10 as well. Because when you are fixing some issues in release 10, or when you are developing something in release 10, something would have got broken which is being delivered in release 5. So something might have got that it might be related to something which has been we have delivered on release 5. So in we when you are not doing the regression testing from release 1 to 9, so you will never come to know, like 10th release you have done some changes which has broken some functionality of release 5. So it is very risky. After it goes into production, it becomes a big issue. So when release 10, you do your regression testing from release 1 to 9. So the testers will have a regression test cases. So they will be doing very fast these regression test cases. Like there will be many test cases for release 1 to 9. You would have done you would have written hundreds of test cases. So it is very difficult for a manual tester to do all the regression testing from release 1 to 9. So they have observed, like, the testers cannot do, because there will be hundreds of test cases, and within that time limit the testers will not be able to do, and the testers started skipping many test cases. So it is creating a lot of issues. So that is what this automation testing concept comes. So what they do is from release 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, they develop, they do in automation. So whenever the release 10 is going to be tested, they run the automation script. So this tester's time is saved to test all the functionalities of release 1 to 9. So it becomes easy. It saves a lot of time. Automation, you run it at the night and you see it in the morning. Yes, automation, as a tester you have to learn automation as well. You have to learn which are all automations very good in market now, like qtp, selenium. There are many frameworks also coming, cucumber, etc, etc. So manual tester, it is better to learn automation as well. But if you say like you are already a manual tester, if you say like because of automation my job will go, that is never going to happen. So for the release 1 to 9, they develop the automation code and they run at the night. And automation also has many challenges, like if there is some changes in the application, then it will fail. That the automation tester has to fix that code, etc, etc. These all are there. But what is manual testing and automation testing is this, like up to release 9 they will run the automation. So release 10, the manual tester will execute the release 10 test cases. So how a automation testing can replace manual testing? It cannot be possible, because release 10, a manual tester only has to do it. In 99% of the companies it is happening in that way. Like the manual automation test, I can say 100% or so. Automation tester only have to, at a manual tester only have to do the release 10. So maybe the manual tester's size may reduce, because if you want to do the testing of release 1 to 9, you might need lot of testers. So if you do automation, the manual testers size, instead of 5 manual testers, the manual testers size may reduce to 2. So that is what I said, like if you are if you are going to be a tester, you have to learn automation testing as well, to to be to be like sync in the market. Otherwise it will become more difficult. When you are doing your experience, you have to become an automation tester as well. But yes, but manual testing is not going to over. You will be always be required a manual tester. But it is better to learn automation tester, so that most of the companies you prefer now, like you have to be a manual tester as well as an automation tester. So that release comes, you have to run the release 1 to 9 regression test cases, and you have to do the manual testing as well. So you have to learn what is a different kind of testing. What is regression testing? I have explained. There are many types of testing which we will be going on through. I hope you have understood what is a regression testing. So automation testing is mainly focused on regression test cases, regression testing, so that we will save time. And automation testing has helped to reduce the manual testers, because before you could have seen like many companies, more than the developers there will be testers, because it will be a maintenance project. It will be going on release 20, 21, etc. So up to release 19 there should be regression testing done, and it may be a high risky project. If, for example, ICC banking application is there, you cannot ignore a regression testing of release 1 to 19. because it is a highly high risk project. Like money is involved, banking application. If you does some mistake, some customer's account you transferred money wrongly, it might be the fifth release, because that will be the basic of banking application. The fifth release, they might have done the IMPS transfer or NEFT transfer testing. In 20th release, you might be doing small changes in IMPS transfer. Before it was happening in 2 hours, now you are making it as immediate. So this is a change. But in fifth release, you have already developed IMPS functionality and NEFT functionality. Now in 20th release, you are changing like IMPS functionality from 2 hours transfer to no time transfer or 1 minute transfer, and NEFT from 4 hours to 2 hours. So you are doing this development in the 20th release, and something you missed out, which is in fifth release, it will be a huge problem. So that functionality will get affected, of course, in the 20th release. So fifth release also you have to do regression testing. So it is highly impossible, like a tester has to do from release 1 to 19 full regression. So they were having huge number of resources, like there will be huge number of manual testers going on doing this regression testing. So this automation testing is helpful in those kind of things. Like so I suggest like you guys have to learn automation testing as well. So that will be very much useful in the 1 to 19th. Okay, I hope you all understood like what is the software testing, what is importance of testing, what is the principles of testing, and how much testing, what is testing, and a little bit we touched on regression testing. I think we have covered regression testing in this, and what is quality and what is software testing.